And it's this next bar that I think is most interesting. It shrinks all the other bars. It says poverty. It should say low income. If you're below the poverty level in America or in the lowest quintile of income in other countries, your life is 7 to 10 years shorter. Now, some of that's because poor people smoke and drink more, but most of it is because they can't afford some of the good stuff that keeps us alive. They drive older cars with older tires. They're less likely to buy fresh fruits and vegetables. Wealthier is healthier. You have floods in Bangladesh that kill 1,000 people. You have floods in America that are just as bad, and with the single exception of Katrina, nobody dies. And the difference is wealth. We have cars so we can drive away, radios to hear about the floods, dikes to divert the water. Wealth saves lives. So what this means is that if we have foolish regulation, if we obsess, say, about global warming next, or about all the other risks, which would be at the very top of this chart, if visible at all, if we spend capital on that, we kill people. I mean, if it takes the bars on Chippewa Street longer to get their operating permits, or if there are too many regulations that delay the opening of the Walden Galleria, that kills people too. The headline should be, new OSHA rule to save 4, kill 12. But reporters don't think that way. Let me close with one thought experiment, that we already have a fear of innovation. I think we in the media have made it worse with our scared reporting. And let me test this on you. I mean, clearly we've got to have some regulation. We don't want a free market of nuclear weapons. Some things are just too dangerous. So let's say you're the regulators and I'm a greedy businessman and I have a new product I want to introduce. Should it be allowed? So, given what's going on in the Middle East and the high price of oil, let's say my new product is new fuel. And it'll be no cheaper than oil, but it'll reduce our dependence on OPEC. That'll be good to give us more choices. The trouble is, let's say my new fuel, unlike oil, which is flammable, let's say my new fuel is so flammable it's explosive. And it's invisible and odorless and deadly poisonous. And I want to pump it into your house. So, should this be allowed? Let me do an ambush interview and ask you about that. Oh, good mic work, you audio people. That was quick. So, who doesn't want this new fuel? Who will give me the expected response to this crazy thing? Somebody here does not want this new fuel? You don't want it, right? No. Oh, you don't want to be called on there. Okay. Any volunteer? Who doesn't want this new fuel? You don't want it. Can I slide into him there? Okay. It just sounds too dangerous?
Especially if it's explosive and toxic.
And it is explosive and toxic. At what point would you draw the line? Like, what if I would say it would only kill 20 Americans a year?
Killing is not an issue here.
The what? It's not an issue.
Well, why do you want to kill? I mean, what's the risk value?
How about 2 people? And you don't get to pick them. Well, let me ask this. What kind of stove do you have at home?
What kind of what?
Stove.
Gas stove. Gas.
Isn't that invisible, highly explosive, deadly poisonous fuel? Don't feel bad. Everybody falls for this. I mean, it is. You say, what do you mean it's odorless? It has this smell. But that's only because they add mercaptan to it so you can smell it before it blows you up. But we accept natural gas because we got it before we got so frightened. We accept, and it kills not 2 or 20, it kills 200 Americans every year. But we accept it.
When you were proposing it, you said the fear first, you know. You should have, when the natural gas, people never tell us, okay? So the way you present your case was scary.
But that's how everything new is presented. The activists say this could kill people. And we say no to everything. We accept coal, which kills lots of people, because we started using it before we got so uptight. We're frightened of nuclear power, which may be better. How about something even less useful than natural gas? I want to introduce a toy, a recreational device. We'll have fun with it. We don't need it. And it will kill 800 Americans every year. Mostly little children who will die, toddlers who will die with brain damage, expensively, die as vegetables. Anybody want to guess what I'm talking about? What? Well, hold that thought. Yes, that's the correct answer. But other answers? Wrong answers? Come on. Bicycles is a very good guess. They kill 800 Americans every year. But they're more than a toy. They're a form of transport, and they don't cause the slow brain damage. Skateboards, mostly orthopedic injuries, not many deaths. See? Action figures, meaning that the little babies choke on them. Well, that's an example of the open society working, that yes, there's some regulation, but the main reason the deaths of choking have gone down is because word has gotten out. You don't give little toys to babies. You don't give babies balloons. I mean, the government passed all these laws. If the toy will be played with by a child below 3, then it must be a certain size. And in theory, that should save lives. But in reality, the 9-year-old's toy gets in the hand of the 3-year-old younger brother. It's far better that the parents be aware of it and police it themselves. And through that, the death rates have gone way down. Nowhere near 100, probably a couple every year. This woman had it right saying swimming pools. Would they be approved today? I want to put big tanks of water in people's backyards. And they'll kill 800 Americans every year. Should that be allowed? No way government would approve it. Or if they would approve it, they would require armed government guards around the pools. Or at least razor wire fences. Would cars be approved? I don't think so. I have a new form of transport. It'll pollute, but differently from the old form. There'll be more air pollution. That'll be a downside, but less solid waste, less shoveling. That'll be a big improvement, actually. Trouble is, it'll weigh a ton, and people will drive it at 50 miles per hour, inches from other people. And we're going to let 16-year-olds drive them. No way it would be approved. Airplanes, we're going to fly hundreds of people in aluminum tubes over cities. My point is just that the press has done us a real disservice, because all you hear from us and the politicians are the scare stories. All this whining about risks, and this is going to kill you, and that's going to kill you. And it is true, in the past 50 years, we've been exposed to things that humans have never been exposed to before. Invisible chemicals, radiation, all those food additives that are on the products you buy. Mysterious new technologies, but what's the result? We forget that we're living much longer. Our sense of history is so bad, we forget that at the turn of the last century, most people my age had already been dead for 10 years. Lifespans have increased 30 years because of the very technology that we now fear. I argue that America's heroes are not Ralph Nader and the army of busybodies who want to run your life. America's heroes are free people, not just in your charity work, and I hope you do that for others as well as for yourself, but in your pursuit, your self-interest, pursuit of profit. Because if you make a product that works a little better, or gets to someone a second sooner, or costs a penny less, you save lives by making America a little wealthier. You are the heroes, not they. And I hope you fight for that liberty that made America possible. Thank you very much.